It's quite a familiar one. It's recorded in the Gospel according to St. John, the 3rd chapter, and the 16th verse. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in me will not die, but have eternal life. Amen. I didn't even read it. We have some questions that were submitted, and now you have to flip that thing. There you go. And I told Michael just before I went back to see the questions, now I know what I'm going to preach on. I have to think about it for a minute, okay? How do we respond to questions regarding evolution and creation? Okay, you're supposed to answer the question.
Which creation story?
Thank you, because that's about what I was just going to say. First, this is no small question, and it has been asked by Christians throughout the universe. And some Christians say, well, wait a second, I'm a Lutheran. I go to Peace Lutheran Church. I can't believe in evolution. And then they hear stuff about creationism and evolution, and it gets confusing. So let me draw back to that thing that Michael just said, creation stories. The Bible was written by many, many people. Many strands were written to make up what we call the Bible, Biblia, many authors. And in the early books, when I say early books, particularly Genesis, there were many strands. If you have gone to a seminary like Dara, or like Pastor Ralph and I, they still had seminaries when we went there. You would learn that some of the authors of the book of Genesis were labeled JEDP. And that doesn't mean anything to you, and you shouldn't pay attention to that. That only meant they were designated by the age of the authors who wrote it. J was a Yahwist, the oldest. Elohim was E for later. Then the D was Deuteronomist, and the P was priestly. None of that means anything except they wrote stuff at different times to make up this book of Genesis. In the early writings, they wanted to teach people a lesson in the early writings, especially in those early chapters of Genesis. If there was one overriding theme of the book of Genesis, it was that sin produces consequences. If you sin, there's going to be stuff happening. Thus, you have stories of the Tower of Babel. You have stories of Noah and the flood. You have stories of Cain and Abel. You have stories of the Garden of Eden. And in each of those stories, you can remember, there was a sin, and then there was a consequence. Those same authors, in particular a J author and an E author, the age again, decided they wanted to teach people about God and creation. So they shared stories about God and creation to make some sense of it. The one creation story, there are two, as Michael said. The one story, you'll remember, on the first day, God created. On the second day, on the third day, on the fourth day, the fifth day, sixth, seventh day. Very orderly. Everything was in order. And they wanted to say to people, God is not haphazard. He does things in an orderly fashion. He has a plan. They wanted to teach us that God has a plan. So that was a story of creation that they wrote. The other author, which was the older author, he wanted to embody God in our lives. He wanted to teach us that God is involved with us as people. So this is a creation story about spit and dirt and earthy kind of stuff. Even has the story of God putting the man to sleep and taking his brains out and making a woman out of him.
Oh, God help us all.
Did I change that? Yeah, it was earthy. See, it was really earthy. And he wanted to teach people that God is involved with us as a people. So we have those as our creation story. Can a Christian believe in evolution? See, it's almost the wrong kind of question. So it's not a question of how we were made. See, orderly, earthy. It's always a question of who made us. You see, God made us in his image. God made us as people with a heart and with a soul. God made us in his image. How he made us doesn't matter one iota. The process by which we're made doesn't matter. It's who made us that's important. So can a Christian believe in evolution? Of course. Can a Christian believe in the Big Bang Theory? Of course. Can a Christian believe in a theory that is yet unknown to us, that we haven't figured out yet? Of course. But the question is, who made us? That's what makes us as Christians, you see, that God made us in his image. The other question is, just because I believe what I believe, does it mean other faiths have to be wrong? Of course they're wrong. No. I read John 3:16 because it is it's the standard of what we believe. It really is. If you want to take a nutshell of what we believe, it's John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Whoever believes in him will live and have eternal life. Believes. So central to our faith is believing in Jesus Christ, not what we do, although he encouraged us to do good stuff. It's our belief in Jesus Christ that's important. Does that mean other faiths have to be wrong? Of course not. There are many different belief systems throughout this world. Many of those belief systems involve a heavenly realm that we also believe in. They have different liturgies. They have different faith statements. They have different ways of expressing that faith. They have different words for some of the words that we use, and all valid and all good. What do those other faiths profess? What is their hope? What are the other faiths? I'm not talking just Christian faiths here. I'm talking about all faiths. And generally, what do you think what's their goal?
Be good.
Huh? Be good to others. That's one goal.
Please God. To please God.
Please God, serve God.
Be good to everyone.
Be good to everyone. Well, yeah.
To be reconciled with God.
To be reconciled. To find peace with God. To find some purpose. Right? Now tell me, how can they possibly be wrong? How can that possibly be wrong? It can't. So we affirm other faiths, and we affirm other traditions, and we affirm other religions, because those are all valid too. I could do a whole side topic on, I don't know how much time do we have, on the faith of Islam. I could do hours on Islam, because Islam has 5 pillars that are just absolutely wonderful pillars of faith. And Islam is a peaceful, extremely peaceful religion, and it's being corrupted quite a bit. But that's what Islam, pure Islam is a very peaceful religion of 5 strong pillars of faith that have to do with charity in the family and prayer and unbelievable stuff. So believe what you do, but other faiths are also very important. Those are just two questions that Dara highlighted for me. But do you have some others as we're just chatting here tonight? You have a rabbi in attendance, so this is your chance. It's like the Gong Show, you know. Anything else in your hearts? Okay, we'll keep the faith, and we'll keep doing Larry and I